Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Batman First Knight issue 2. We left it on a pretty big cliffhanger in the last video, so if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and click here. But yeah, without any further ado, let's just get into it. Let's continue. So picking up right where we left off with Batman's execution at Blackgate Penitentiary, we see all the witnesses behind the window basically watching the Batman fry, realizing that the man that was supposed to be getting put to death, Myron Dale, the man who killed 4 women, that's not him in the chair. We then watch Batman in excruciating pain as he's being electrocuted, restrained, just trying to fight, tear his way out of there and just live and not get taken out like this. We know narratively he cannot die this way, so it's really just a matter of how the hell does this Batman, who's like so not equipped with technology, is living in the 1930s and isn't even really wearing armor, how is he gonna make it through this? Eventually, you know, we see that it looks like he might not. He gets zapped and then eventually goes unconscious until someone else comes onto the scene saying, "You're killing him. What the hell is wrong with you people?" and flips the chair back off. And of course, it is none other than Jim Gordon, because someone has to talk sense into everyone else in the city. Have you lost your minds? This man has not been tried or found guilty of a crime. You can't just execute him, Jim says. He was leading a prison break, Commissioner, one of the guards answers. We then see the warden of Blackgate step in. "Blackgate is my jurisdiction, Gordon. You have no right to interfere. Warden Shelby, until this prison is exempted from the laws of this nation and Gotham City, I have every right to involve myself." And this is just one of those classic Jim Gordon moves where he's the only one who's like doing his job correctly, the only one who's not corrupt and just letting the power go to his head. And I like that. You know, there's a lot of changes in this miniseries, a lot of adjustments to make it fit with the time period and the golden age a little bit more. But even in these modernized retellings, we still have the same core beliefs. The warden then looks back through the window and sees he's gone. Why? No human can possibly. And the guard interrupts him. He's him, isn't he? The one the papers have been yammering about. Gordon answers yes, calls himself the Batman. We then see Batman make his escape, slipping back through the darkness, taking out the guards that might stop him, basically slipping out just as easily as he infiltrated the place to begin with. And I just gotta say, there is so much and so little detail in all the right places that really makes this art stand out to me. The colors are amazing. Inking and line art is so unique here. I just love the whole aesthetic. I love how they make this prison look like it should almost have a moat around it. You know, this looks very like fantasy, medieval castle type prison, and it really just goes to show just how unique the visual identity of this book is, and that's one of the things that has stood out to me the most, not only in this issue but the first one as well. And as one last step to get out of the prison, Batman takes out the last guards on watch in one of the most striking panels that I think I've seen from the series yet, and perfectly encapsulates the point that I was trying to make in the last video about how inherently more creepy Batman looks in his golden age suit, because look at this. Look at him. It's perfect. It looks so good. Literally looks like a demon. This is Batman, like prime Batman. This is exactly how he should look, in my opinion. We then see Gordon, the warden, and the guard continuing to talk about how Batman could have possibly escaped. Guard says, "I got a theory about that. The generators had just fired up after the prison lost power. You know, it takes time for them to work back up to their full capacity. So realistically, the chances are he never got the full dosage of electricity that most prisoners would be getting. So he was very fortunate to survive, all because the commissioner stepped back in and shut it down when he did." That's the significance of Gordon being who he is and being the only one in any given room to uphold the law, even if it's against everybody else's wishes. And that was enough to keep Batman alive so he could live one more day to keep doing what he's doing. The warden starts smoking a cigarette, saying, "That means him walking is on you." And Gordon then gives him this look of judgment, saying, "We're still in a depression, Warden Shelby. Jobs aren't really that easy to come by. Had I not stopped you, eventually you would have been fired, probably tried and convicted of killing an innocent man. So if anything, you should be thanking me." He then turns to go down the stairs and leave before the warden says, "Easy to see why we got monsters rampaging the city. Tends to happen when a commissioner goes soft." This turns Gordon right back around. "Excuse me? Let me tell you what I know. I know good and goddamn well that something fishy is going on here. We found the fingerprints of a dead man on one of those monsters, Shelby. A man who reportedly died here. In your electric chair. The prints aren't old, mind you, matches a man who quote-unquote died within the last couple weeks." The warden says, "You got an accusation to make?" make it. But before you say another word, you might want to consider this. When the courts send me someone to execute, I get it done. He has the audacity to grab the commissioner by his coat. If you're trying to get me up and frame me for something to take the heat off your own incompetent ass, the guard interjects and separates him. That's enough, boys. We got reporters in the next room. For crying out loud. Jim, for everyone's sake, I think it's best you go now. Another guard waiting at the door says, there might be a problem with that, Captain. The commissioner's car, well, it got took. We then see Batman pulling up to Wayne Manor once again in Jim's car, parking it away in one of his hidden garages, undressing himself from the torn suit, trying to walk off all his scrapes and burns. He looks himself in the mirror and says, I'd hire a private nurse if I could trust her to keep her mouth shut, but so long as I live this life, I'm all I've got. He sinks into a bath and just tries to heal himself the best he can without going to a hospital. We then see a man named Johnny sitting in his apartment drinking alcohol when a man tells him, the voice is on the box. He heads into another room and talks to a voice on the radios. This mysterious voice tells him, our goal remains unchanged, Johnny. The goal is still to make Gotham mine. We need to push 2 obstacles up to the very top of our removal list. This idiot dressed like a bat, bring me his head, Johnny. And for the second obstacle, Commissioner Gordon. We then cut to the next night in Wayne Manor, more specifically in Bruce's lab, where he's listening to a radio interview between a radio host and the mayor of Gotham after he'd been attacked and saved by the Batman. It's good to be here, the mayor says, especially after that assassination attempt. To be honest, the missus and I were lucky to escape alive. A question about that, sir, the radio host asks. In light of the murders of several councilmen and the continuing level of crime and chaos, I can't help but wonder, are any of us truly safe? Because a lot of Gothamites feel like things are so out of control, there isn't a man alive who can stop this. The mayor responds, I have those same questions, Stu. Giving it to you straight, it's clear that our police have failed us. We then see Bruce uncover a fully restored Batsuit, getting ready to put it back on now that he's healed himself. We then cut to Jim Gordon also listening to the radio in his office, where the mayor continues, that's why I put Jim Gordon on notice, to clean up this mess or face instant removal. He clicks the radio off, picks up his coat, and leaves, announcing to his fellow officers, assuming no one has found my car, can one of you get on the horn and get me a hack? I'd like to sleep at home for once. A deputy cop runs into the bullpen. Hold off on that taxi. Gordon lets out a sigh. Oh god, not another murder, I hope. The cop responds, something good for once, actually. Your car is back. Parked it right out front. In obvious confusion, Gordon says, did anyone see the man? Maybe even identify him? The cop responds, I'm afraid not. If it was the Batman like you suspect, it's pretty clear. He knows his way around the shadows. We then get this gorgeous page of Golden Age Batman sitting on the rooftops, just watching over the city. It looks magnificent. This is exactly the type of thing I read the book for. We then see the mayor on a bridge and an armored convoy of cars being moved from one place to another by as many cops as they can spare, but it's still not enough to help his paranoia. Hit the gas and speed up already. I'm a sitting duck out here, he says. Easy there, Mr. Mayor. With this armored escort and all, I don't care how big those palookas are. They don't have enough firepower to move on us. The mayor snaps back. You'd worry plenty if you had seen those gorillas. The fact is, in this day and age, in this town, if someone really wants to tuck you in for the big sleep, they'll damn well find a way to do it. And perfectly proving his point, we see a mini plane being piloted by those very zombies, flying directly over the bridge and attacking the convoy, spraying it with guns, just absolutely penetrating all their defenses. The cars get shot up, they crash into each other. The mayor screams from inside the car, they crash into each other even more. The plane goes down on the bridge, explosions break out, and we see another car down the road with someone in it laughing. It worked! Tell you what, when the voice wants someone clipped, they got no chance. So if y'all think you're gonna live to see the sun come up, Chopper here says otherwise. We then get a good look at these attackers. Once again, the 2 zombie henchmen and one man with a Tommy gun sitting in the middle just firing away, with Batman looking over him. Johnny the Whip, right? I knew you were connected to this. Seen your mug in the paper too, but you're just an errand boy. So who are you really playing sucker for? One of the henchmen grabs his cape and yanks him back, cutting him off, before punching him straight in the jaw. Johnny scoffs. Y'all are dressed up like a rodent, yet I'm the sucker? Y'all are just another corpse for the pile far as I'm concerned. Batman kicks the other henchman down, saying, all of you healthy enough to stand? Run! Talking to the cops, telling him to get out of there before shit pops off. Johnny the Whip starts firing, unloading on all the cops, saying, time to ventilate the room, get rid of the vermin, killing all the cops in sight. And in the cleanest panel I think we've gotten of Batman in the story so far, he throws a batarang straight for him, getting holes shot into his cape, and cuts Johnny straight in the face before helping the mayor up and saying, go, I'll keep him busy. The mayor says, but our car, And then Batman puts on a pair of brass knuckles saying, "Take theirs. I'll make sure they can't follow," and starts pounding on all these guys. He smashes the brass knuckles into the goons' faces, lighting them up and drawing blood. One of the goons grabs him by the wrist and throws his entire body into a pile of rubble, and realizing that this fight can't go on forever, he watches as the mayor drives off into safety, jumps off the bridge, and dives straight for the water. Just outside the city, on a patch of land near the water, a child sits with his father next to a fireplace. "Do you believe in sea monsters, Papa?" the kid asks. The father says, "Of course not." "Then what's that?" We then see the Batman emerge from the water slowly. The father starts flipping out, saying, "Christ almighty!" The Batman just absolutely looking like a zombie himself at this point. "Wait, I don't mean any harm, just the water is so cold. Hypothermia. That fire." He drops to the ground just trying to get some heat before the father swings a bat at him saying, "Told you to stay away, you sick freak." Batman replies, "And I told you, I mean no harm." He pushes him away and runs off into the night. We then catch up with the rabbi from the last issue, passing out food to squatters in a shanty town, just trying to help out those in need. Unfortunately, a couple of anti-Semites hang out in the shadows watching him, saying, "A Jew? Here? We gotta change that." They wait until he's alone, leaving the shantytown, crossing through an alley, and they grab him, saying, "Food for them, but nothing for us." They take out their pocket knives and rip the coat right off of him before someone off panel says, "He's here to help. You're here to kill." He instantly swoops in to save the rabbi and stop the men, knocking them out, slamming them headfirst into the concrete before the rabbi steps in saying, "Stop this, please. There's no need to injure them." Batman, flabbergasted, says, "You're protecting them?" We then get another really good, gloomy, dark, greenish blue look at the city in the night. "From you and what I fear you're capable of?" "Yes." He takes him back to the synagogue where they first met. "So, Mr. Batman, you weren't at the shanties by coincidence, were you? You were looking for me?" Batman says yes. "Because you were troubled, perhaps? Why could that be, I wonder?" Batman hangs in the shadows, saying, "I'm not entirely sure. I guess I want to make things better, safer. But I don't know if that's possible, or even if it is, whether I'm up to it. I started this mission a few weeks ago, but in that time I've been beaten, shot, gassed, and knifed. Nearly fried in the electric chair too." The rabbi hands him a coffee. "No doubt that Gotham needs help, but why do you feel so much of it rests on you?" "I've seen great evil, Rabbi. When left unchecked," he takes his mask off, "I know what it's capable of." "Mr. Bruce Wayne, I've wondered who you are under that mask, and I do recognize you from the news." Bruce responds, "Then you can probably figure out why I do this. I know what it's like to be a victim. The night my parents were gunned down in front of me, I was too young to fight back, but I can fight now to make sure it doesn't happen to others." The rabbi grabs him by the shoulder, saying, "Why come to me with this? Have you no one else?" Batman says, "No. Trust is hard for me. You're different." He puts the cowl back on. "People need help, and yet there is none. We're lucky to have you. Those willing to stand up to evil are hard to find, but I beg you, take care of yourself." Engaging in hand-to-hand combat, Batman cuts him off, says, "No guns. It would betray the most impactful moment of my life." We then see Jim Gordon heading out to the parking lot from the GCPD before someone off in the distance says, "The word is you coppers need help. Y'all want to know about the monsters?" Jim looks off to see who's talking to him. "Johnny the Whip. Here to do my duty as a square citizen, commish." Johnny's lighting a cigarette. "See, when it comes to the mooks tearing things up, I can give you more than you'll ever want to know." Gordon then turns to see the monsters, the goons, the zombie henchmen headed straight for him, about to kill him. Wasting no time, he grabs for the holster, takes out a gun, and shoots one of them straight in the head. Unfortunately, the other one gets the best of him, starts tackling and strangling him, saying, "You're dead," in that slurish caveman talk once again, before Batman inevitably steps in, saying, "Not today," and starts beating him with brass knuckles once again, saving Jim's life just like he'd saved his. Johnny the Whip stands by his car, saying, "I was hoping y'all was gonna show. A 2 for the price of 1 special. I like that. That's why I brought extra." And 2 more goons come out of the car and start attacking them. One cop from inside hears all the commotion going on outside and comes out with a Tommy gun of his own, starts blasting, blowing holes through one of the henchmen. Johnny the Whip over in the corner says, "Congratulations, Flatfoot. Y'all just earned yourself a coffin," and kills the cop on sight. And as Batman's fighting one of the goons, he realizes it's Myron Dale, the man who was supposed to be executed. And he was, and now he's working as an undead henchman. The warden at the prison really is corrupt. This confirms it, but it's too late. The undead Myron grabs him by the throat, hooking an arm around him, strangling him. Fortunately for Bruce, we're working meeting with a more sinister Batman, and he takes a knife that he had pocketed earlier right out of the utility belt, stabs him in the arm, and breaks free. Icing Gordon should have been a cakewalk, Johnny says off panel, till you gummed up the works. Chump, we hear a large gunshot. Gordon shot Johnny right through the back, saving Batman's life once again, saying, I don't have any idea why you don't carry a sidearm, but you can't possibly continue like this, Batman, fighting close in like you do, making everything an urban version of French warfare. Keep it up and you'll be crippled within a few weeks. I appreciate the advice, Batman says. Gordon cuts him off again. Listen to me. Arm yourself. Get a gun before it's too late. If nothing else, at least think about it, okay? Before I have to bury them and you. Batman swings away, saying, I'll think about what you said, giving Gordon the opposite response that he gave the rabbi. He heads home to the mansion, takes a glance at the antique armory full of rifles and shotguns and pistols, and takes one out, looks at it, and that's where it ends. So yet another cliffhanger. I imagine this one is going to be a fake out, just like the cliffhanger in the last issue. But then again, Golden Age Batman did use guns, so this is going to be very, very interesting to see if he actually does try to use it for a short while and see how it goes. But yeah, I think it's really cool that this version of Jim Gordon, not only, he's not really discouraging Batman from being Batman, he's not really trying to lock him up for being a vigilante. He's just like, I can see that you're trying to help, but you're going to get killed. So I'm just concerned for your safety. Carry a gun, right? Which is not a moment or a conversation that I thought I would see between them. And I definitely didn't see that conversation ending with Batman leaving and saying, okay, I'll think about it, I'll consider it. But then again, this is one of the great things about telling a retroactive story set in the Golden Age. We get to see a different version of Batman, and we get to see a different version of Jim Gordon. Completely different world here, and it's really exciting. So if you enjoyed this video, you want to see the next and final part of the series, go ahead and leave a like on this video. Check out my other videos here, comment your thoughts down below, all that stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching.